All right, joining us on Our Kind of Music is George and Christine Gomez. They're the authors of Saving the King. Now, this is a book that you just had published, but it's not your typical book about Elvis, is it?
No, it's not. It's a book that he gets a second chance at life from God.
So obviously it's a fictional work.
It is, but 80% of the book about his life is the truth. Because I combated and I talked a lot about his prescription drug abuse.
Oh, okay.
And how he can defeat it, and how friends, and how this little kid grew up a multi-billionaire who forced Elvis to combat his addictions.
So the kid that's the multi-billionaire, that's the element that changes the course.
Everything. Elvis saves his life when he was a kid by just chance. And so the kid grows up and he inherits all this money, and then there's an insider in Elvis's camp that's giving the child who's grown now. He's giving him like weekly updates on Elvis, and he knows Elvis doesn't have much to live. So things are set up where when it's time, they were going to do something drastic to save his life. And it's really timely right now because the epidemic of drug abuse is just ridiculous.
Yeah. And it is, it's tragic when you lose artists at a relatively young age. I mean,
he was 42.
Yeah, and that was young at the time. I mean,
Michael Jackson was 50, and he married Lisa Marie Presley for a year.
Yeah, for what it was worth,
Yeah, that's what it was worth. That's right.
I mean, I speaking for myself, all I could think was, what the hell was she thinking?
I know, that's right. I mean, Neverland married Graceland.
Yeah, exactly. So, how did you said you've had this idea for a while? How did it come about?
All right, I'll tell you how it started. I live here in California now, in Northern California, but my whole life was in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
All my life. I've been here for like 7 years. Well, anyway.
Were you born and raised in Nashville?
No, I was actually born in Dominican Republic.
Really?
My mother's Cuban, my dad's Dominican, but then we came, I'm too young to remember, but during the Missiles of October, Khrushchev, and all the Bay of Pigs.
Right.
Well, my parents wanted to get us out of there and out of Miami. And there was a community of Cubans that were living in Nashville. And I came there when I was 3 years old.
Really? Oh, okay.
And so, then we loved Elvis. And I've said this so many times. My wife says, come up with something different. But this is the truth. Listening to Elvis was as natural as drinking water.
Yeah, okay.
And especially in the South. We love Johnny Cash and Waylon and all those people, George Jones and Elvis Presley. So I was 16 when he died.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Blake, back then they didn't have 24-hour cable.
No.
The paparazzi, as we know it now, they left you alone, basically.
Yeah.
No internet. So when he died, we were like, his millions of fans were like in shock.
Yeah.
Because his inner circle knew about his afflictions, but we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just in shock there. And when I was 16, so I said, I'm going to come up with a different ending to his life. I want to finally put closure to his life that we never had. So I had this story just in my mind for 30-something years. And I moved to California 8 years ago. And the reason I'm not back in Tennessee is because I got married to a Northern California girl.
Ah, okay.
So as his wife, I got to hear the story, and I was very intrigued the first few times I heard it, and then I got to hear it many more times after that because he would tell it to friends and family, and everybody was really interested in his story.
Right.
And eventually, I just encouraged him, let's go ahead and put this down on paper.
Yeah, well, she actually said, shut up. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Write it down.
Write it down.
As somebody's spouse, you get to hear those stories multiple times, and they're new and fresh to everybody around them except for you. And
Right, right.
I figured that I could help him get it down on paper, and so.
Well, that's great too. And my wife could relate to what you just said. So she's as soon as she sees this, she's going to say, "See, I told you so." Because I've got a couple of ideas that she's like, write these things down, So I think that's a good
movie. That was,
I didn't want it to be a
that
book.
was his goal, was to see this.
Oh, okay.
And that's where we started.
We wrote the script. We figured it out. Like I said, Blake, she's the smart one. She's very, very intelligent, and I'm not just saying that because she's here. She really is smart.
What is your background, Christine?
Well, for the past 25 years, I've been working as a computer scientist at a national laboratory.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've done a lot of writing, but most of it has been
technical.
Code. Yeah, I've been writing code for 25 years. So
right, you're right, George. She's a smart one.
Yeah. I can put two sentences together, and then I'll have 3 periods. I don't know how to write it, but I know the story.
So on the screenplay, is it and the book, is it co-authored then?
Us, yes.
Okay.
Just us, and the screenplay went crazy. I started sending the synopsis out to people, to producers, and the screenplay wanted to be optioned by this producer in Australia, in London, LA. I've been offered money for it already, but we didn't want to. And all of a sudden, the publisher calls us and says, "Look, I read the synopsis. I love the story. I don't care nothing about the film. Can you do a book?" And we kind of laughed, like, a book, no way. But we say, well, why not? And we finished it in a month.
Wow.
And we wrote the book in a month because we already knew, because it's based off the screenplay. We knew the story. But now in the book, as everybody knows, it's more narrative.
A different type of writing altogether. Plus you add so much more to it in a novel. Instead of the stage directions and all that you get in a screenplay, you have to put it into words and all that. Now, have either of you written a screenplay before?
Nothing.
How did I'm curious on a personal level, how did you go about finding out, okay, I want to write a screenplay, but so how do you go about finding out how to write a screenplay?
Christine, this is your...
Well, we looked at other screenplays and figured out the format of that, got some software, and there's some really good software out there that will help you structure the screenplay the way that it's supposed to be with your your scene
really good
headings and descriptions, your characters, and dialogue tags, because there's a structure to what a screenplay needs to look like. And then we got some books and read up on how to write a successful screenplay. And
she read the book.
There are some formulas that you can kind of look at and see. At this point in your movie, you would want to have something happen. When you introduce your hero, when you have false highs and lows, and so you kind of want the pacing to be right. And there's a number of pages that you want a screenplay to be, and you want to hit different points in your story at different.
Yeah, because you figure so many minutes per page, and
well, it's 1 minute. It's 1
minute per page. Oh, okay. Because it's the same. I took a novel writing class when we were living up in Oregon, and it's the same thing. They give you a flow of the way the book should go. Something should happen here, and then you take it down a little bit, and then something bigger should happen here until it builds. And so because people don't want to run at the same pace all the time, it's exhausting. You
have to have a conflict. They want you to have a conflict almost every scene.
That's
when a falls high and then everything falls down. If you watch a movie now, you're thinking, "Oh, okay, great, this is fantastic," and then something happens and it goes straight downhill. But then it goes up again and ends.
Okay, I gotta ask this: is it a prerequisite you're living in Southern California right now, right?
Northern
California.
About an hour about an hour from San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Great. That's a beautiful area because I'm looking at the wall behind you there, and that's
Mhm.
just beautiful. Obviously, you're into. Uh,
Well,
is it collecting photos or autographs?
no.
This is George's man cave, by the
Yeah,
way.
this
So
is not
you can
hers.
describe the decor in here.
I love it.
I have over 2,000 autographs. And when I got married, I was divorced for like close to 20 years, and we both were. And then we were married 7 years ago. Then I moved into her home, and she said you can have one room. That's it for your autographs. So I've just put everybody you can imagine. I try to get the older actors. I've got Jane Mansfield, Edward G. Robinson, Betty Davis. I've got a lot of them.
Yeah, I see Lauren Bacall behind you.
Lauren Bacall back there. Yeah, that's right. And there's Jane Russell, Errol Flynn, Tom Hanks, Mel Gibson, Ray Charles, and I've got again I got 2,000, but she won't let me put it anymore. So I got it.
Well, you might.
Yeah.
You'd have
So I
to.
play a lot of. One of my big hobbies is golf. So I play a lot of celebrity golf tournaments in LA.
Yeah.
So I play golf with them, and then I go to autograph shows about 3 times a year in LA. It's fun.
It's
just
great.
fun.
I love it. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the story. Now you mentioned the young boy, but the young boy is a rich young boy. Is that?
His father, he was his parents brought him to a 1956 concert in the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, and then Elvis says goodnight. He's in the back parking lot helping his friends pack up. And this young boy gets lost from his parents when the crowd is just really going crazy. And he's like 10 years old. And then he just wanders in the back. And then this menacing stranger tries to abduct the young kid. And Elvis looks around and he saves him. I mean, he grabs him. And then that was it. And then his parents are called. His parents are multi-billionaires. They build hospitals throughout the world. And the father said, "Can I help you in any way, Elvis?" And he says, "No, I was just taking care of business." And that's what he does. So he gives. So Elvis flips a buffalo nickel to the young kid, and they walk away. Well, that was now the story goes into the present, 20 years later, and Elvis is in his jungle room,
Right.
and the Elvis as we know it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if people knew, but he shot out TVs with his guns all the time.
Yeah. Hey.
And for some reason, it was when Robert Goulet was on there. Believe it or not.
I could understand that. Yeah.
But I didn't put Robert Goulet. So then he has his heart attack. As everybody knows, he had his heart attack and he died. But when he has his heart attack, his spirit goes up to somewhere, not heaven. And a Southern accent angel starts talking to him. And he says, "Hey, boy, the boss is going to give you a second chance." He goes, "Why?" And he shows Elvis what he did 20 years prior to save that kid. And he said, because of that kid, he's going to give you a second chance. You must be one of his favorites. And there's a reason. If you read the book, there's a reason why Elvis got his second chance.
Oh, that's
and
great.
So, yeah, the story goes from there, and the kid grows up. The next scene is the kid's flipping his little buffalo nickel 20 years later. He's never lost it.
Huh.
Yeah, and his parents have died, inherits billions of dollars.
Well,
and the story goes from there.
Yeah, well, now I've got to read the book, because I didn't get a chance to get the book because we just got in touch with each other recently. So, but yeah, now I'll have to read the book because it is interesting, and it sounds like you've got quite a bit of interest in the screenplay as well.
We do. As we speak, one of our producers, I have 3 of them, is in Cannes, France, right now on his yacht. And he's pitching the idea to all these people right now, our script.
Well, best of luck with that. I mean, it really interesting. And so where can people find out about the book while that's out before the rest of it's in the works for the movie?
Right.
But
right.
Where can they get the book?
they can purchase the book online at Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
It is available for Kindle. That's the ebook version, and also paperback version can be purchased from Amazon, as well as an audiobook format.
Great.
Amazon.
Who does the reading of the audiobook?
A very talented actor.
Uh-huh.
His name is Elmer Strasser, and he is acting is a passion of his that he does in his spare time.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually a colleague of mine at work.
Oh, okay.
And we recruited him to do that, and he does a wonderful job with the audio.
Great Southern accents.
That's great.
Yeah, he chooses all these different accents. He has to do some female voices, male voices. Of course, he has to try to sound like Elvis as well.
Yeah.
But he does a really good job. He's a wonderful narrator.
So he does the entire reading.
The entire reading.
That is great.
Really, really good.
Well, I really look forward to checking it out. And I think I asked you before, but you have a website also that is dedicated just to the book, or?
Yes, there is a website for a publishing site, which is called Blue Miramar.
Okay.
BLUEMIRAMAR. BlueMiramar.com, and that's the home of Saving the King. So you can go there and take a look at the information about the book and us as the authors. And then, as George mentioned, we do have a Facebook page, which is Saving the King.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Twitter account, which is at Saving the King.
Yeah.
And
okay. Great.
George is the voice behind our Twitter account, so he's quite active there. So people, if you want to interact with the author, you can go to the Twitter account.
Yeah. Oh, that is great, and it's I'm glad you reached out to me too. I don't know how you found me, but
well, where are you right now? Where do you live?
Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, you know what? If we could meet up with you, I could give you a book, a signed copy.
Oh, that'd be great. When you come down.
We're going to be there, like I said, July 10th, I think, actually 11th. It's Friday.
Okay.
July 11th through the weekend, because it's Elvis Week in Vegas.
Okay.
So I was looking up some people in Vegas, and then I Googled you, and I said, this guy's the guy I want to talk to. So thank God that you got back to me. But if we can keep in contact, I'd love to give you a signed copy of the book.
Okay, that's great. No, I appreciate it. The core of our kind of music, of the website and the radio program that I had last year, it's mainly about Americana music artists. And really, I mean, this does tie in because Elvis was a huge influence on a lot of artists, and still is. It's
the true first American Idol.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, at first I was wondering, okay, how are we going to approach this? But when I saw, that it wasn't just another book about Elvis, I thought, okay, this is good. I like this, because you're taking the story and putting a twist to it, and it's fiction and fact mixed, faction, I guess you'd call it.
Hey, I never heard it that way. I like that word, faction. It's a story of redemption about, and then it's also for the millions and millions of fans that felt cheated that he left so early.
Yeah, yeah.
This finally puts closure. I wanted to put some closure because the ending, the fans will love the ending.
Well, great. Don't give it away.
I won't give it away.
Okay.
No.
Well, George, Christine, I want to thank you, and
thank you.
Love talking to you. And we'll keep in touch. We'll get together when you come here.
Like around a week before I get there, I'll try to contact you, and then we'll meet. I'd love to give you the book.
Okay, great. Well, thanks,
Blake.
Thanks again for your time.
All right, and as Elvis always said, thank you very much.
All right.